Little is known of Ceawlin before his crown, other than that he fought in what is thought to have been a Wessex victory at the Battle of Barbary in 556 alongside his father Cynric. As is rapidly becoming the norm, and I'm afraid to say is not going away anytime soon, there are many major details of these events that are simply unknown to history. The only sources are the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle and a little bit of Bede and some other monks sprinkled in, so be warned, as this will be the case for quite a while. Take the info with a dump truck of salt. I'm doing my best. When his probably father Cynric died in 560, Ceawlin ascended to power in Wessex, which had been relatively peaceful for half a century, with violence picking up again a little bit during the last few years of the previous reign. In 568, however, violence resumed, and Ceawlin won a significant and major victory against not a Briton, but King Ethelbert of Kent. In the battle, at least 2 Kentish nobles, ealdormen, were killed before the Kentish army decisively routed. The Kentish were not Saxons, but were in fact Jutes. Still, this is a highly significant battle, as it was the first in which 2 of the invading Germanic kingdoms fought a recorded battle, and this would only become more common in the future. It is important to remember that the better defined kingdoms of the Heptarchy of later eras had not yet arisen and would not for the next few centuries. What existed instead was a much more patchwork and fluid set of smaller kingdoms, with kings like Ceawlin's base of power being much more loosely held, rather than as the ironclad grip that we are more familiar with in the later medieval eras. Having secured the east, Ceawlin looked west, and in 577 he fought a campaign in Brittonic territory, likely seizing on a moment of weakness or instability, and won a highly decisive victory in which 3 local Briton kings were killed, and the Saxons annexed territory all the way up to the Bristol Channel, forever separating the Briton populations of the West Country and Wales. The fortress city of Gloucester and the major Roman cities of Bath and Cirencester fell under Wessex's control, allowing increased westward colonisation by Saxons of various kingdoms. Ceawlin next pops up in 584, where he is reported to have raided north of the Thames. Here, his brother Cutha, who was with him at the time, was killed by the Britons, and it was this which would have inconvenienced him just a little, along with a lack of meaningful military success, and caused him to return to Wessex before the end of the year. Ceawlin was a powerful ruler, and later the Venerable Bede named him a Bretwalda. Historians have argued until they are blue in the face about what this title exactly means, but it can be roughly translated to being overlord. This suggests he had a notable and large influence beyond his own realm, and that he enjoyed success abroad and domestically. This makes sense, as he won a major victory against Kent, and by the end of the reign there was significantly less Briton control in the south and west of the island, marking the transition of England being populated by Germanic rather than Celtic cultures. It would finally all come crashing down in 592, when he was deposed in unknown circumstances by his nephew Ceawl at the Battle of Woden's Barrow here in Wiltshire, a battle described as Great Slaughter. It is likely that his power and influence had been waning for years, and the realistic ability to wield the influence and power that the title Bretwalda would suggest in the later years of his reign was gone. He died the next year in exile along with 2 others, whose names suggest that they too were part of the Wessex royal family, and therefore would have command of armies, Cuichelm and Crida. Given the nature of the changeover in power, the deaths were probably not especially natural. Ceawlin's son, Cuthwin, escaped into exile, however, and we'll hear from him later.